Welcome to Sports Talk with L-Beasley, and this is the very first episode of the new format of Sports Talk with L-Beasley. As I told you guys on my announcement show, basically Sports Talk with L-Beasley will now be airing 5 days a week starting today. And as I also said before, Monday, at least until NBA and college basketball start back up again. Monday is kind of that recap of college football and NFL. That's pretty much what it's supposed to be about. So without further ado, let's get involved into it. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so let's start off with college first. The main thing I really wanted to discuss first off was, since I live in Michigan, was the hometown teams. Michigan, I'll start off with Michigan. Michigan defeated Massachusetts, UMass, 63-13. Now, while this was a great win, happy to see my Wolverines doing their thing, definitely proud. I don't read too much into this as a Wolverine fan. If anything, I'm really just analyzing. I'm really analyzing to see what our team is doing against a weaker team. Like I said, for the first time since since Michigan started this season, we were able to see the run game get established. And I'm not talking the Nara Robinson run game. I'm saying the running game. First two games, Michigan doing a horrible job as far as offensive line blocking for the running backs, and the running backs weren't able to get anything going. So it was great to see Fitzgerald Toussaint, get I think he had about 15 carries for about 85 yards. So that was very impressive. Thomas Rawls was able to get in the game and do some things. Justice Hayes was able to get in the game and score a touchdown. Dennis Norfleet even got a carry. So it was really just nice to see, somebody other than Denard Robinson rushing the ball for the Michigan Wolverines. And another good thing I also liked about this win with Michigan was, as far as receivers, one thing I've always said about Michigan is they don't have that elite go-to receiver, which is something that hurts them. I said that constantly. Roundtree to me is not that person. To me, Galvin is a good receiver, but he's not that elite receiver for us. I think the potential elite receiver, could be Devin Funchess, the true freshman out of Harrison. This kid has all the tangibles basically to be what Michigan needs as that elite receiver. He has the height, he has the size, he has the hands, he has the speed. And quite frankly, since I saw him play in high school when he was at Harrison, quite frankly, he just has that playmaker skill set in him. I mean, he really does, and I think he could be that guy. Of course, Devin Gardner is another tall body that we can throw to, which is nice to see. Like I said, I love Gallen. So, like I said, Michigan has receivers, but I think one thing that they're lacking that could hurt them later in certain games is just having that go-to receiver. That go-to receiver who you can just throw the ball up to and just say, go get it for me. And I think Devin can be that person. I say he's only a freshman. He got plenty of potential, but I think Devin Funchess could be that guy. Basically, I just wanted to say, defense played well. It was nice to see our defense play well, but at the end of the day, like I said, I do not want Michigan fans to read too much into this win. At the end of the day, Michigan did what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to blow out UMass. They did that. I'm proud to see it. But now we got to get ready for Notre Dame. Notre Dame is riding high off beating Michigan State, which I'm about to talk about in a minute. Let's stay focused. This is going to be a test. We beat them last year, barely through a comeback, and mainly just because Notre Dame's quarterback kind of won the game. But, like I said, we beat them last year. But like I said, I don't mind close games and comebacks. But like I said, at the end of the day, I want to see Michigan handle business from start to finish. Doesn't mean we can't make mistakes. Like I said, that's just going to happen. But I do want to see Michigan finish this game strong. I want to see them start strong, but I definitely want to see them finish strong. So at the end of the day, that's the game I'm looking forward to. I said I can't stress that enough. Great win, very proud, but at the end of the day, I don't want too many Michigan fans. There's people reading too much into it. Like I said, they did what they were supposed to do. Let's move on. Let's not fall in love with all the greatness we saw. Let's see it against some real competition, against some real defense, against some real offense, and we'll see what happens. As far as Notre Dame and Michigan State game, I am not surprised Michigan State lost it all. Like I said, I've been waiting. Notre Dame is not what I necessarily consider to be an elite team per se, but they have good playmakers. They have good players. I'm not a big Notre Dame fan or anything, but I know enough about Notre Dame to, like I said, to know that, hey, they can compete. And like I said, they beat their butts last year too. So Michigan State pretty much improved my point that I have been saying pretty much since the season started. With them losing Kirk Cousins, what is Maxwell going to be for this team? And not only Maxwell, but just even the receivers like Sims, like Lippett, like Mumphrey, like Bell. All these guys, what are you guys going to do? Because like I said, one thing that made Michigan State deadly these last couple years, at least in my opinion, was the fact that they could pass the ball well and they could run the ball well, and they always had a good defense. I mean, there was nothing one-dimensional about the Michigan State Spartans football team, at least I said not in the last couple of years. And I kind of feel like with what Maxwell is kind of with Maxwell now not necessarily, and the receivers not clicking, it's making them one-dimensional, which is making them easier to defend. I mean, let's be real. Bell had 19 carries for 77 yards. That's not the Bell we know. But as I said before, Michigan State, who have you played? I'm not trying to be disrespectful here, but like I said, a win is a win. But like I said, if Boise State capitalizes probably off one of those turnovers that y'all had, if not more, Boise State wins that game. You know, Central Michigan, y'all blew them out. Y'all supposed to do that. It's basically the same way I feel about Michigan and UMass. You didn't do anything spectacular in that game. All you did was blow out a weaker team. That's all you did. So like I said, now you're going against a different team who understands your weakness a little bit. And like I said, now, Maxwell did not throw any picks. I saw some drops by receivers. And like I said, I can't put it all on Maxwell because I'm not necessarily liking these receivers too much either. But at the end of the day, Michigan State has to find that way to be that two-dimensional team. Because like I said, if you go back to being one-dimensional, it's just the same thing we see with plenty of teams in the college game and in the NFL. You can't be one-dimensional and think you're going to succeed every time because then it's easier for people to defend you. So that's what I'm looking for in Michigan State. Like I said, you cannot be giving Bell the ball 80% of the time. You can't do that. I don't even think he's going to last that long, quite frankly. And like I said, these receivers and the quarterback Maxwell just have to get on, the same page. Like I said, I can't put it all on him because I've seen some drops out of Michigan State receivers, but I've also seen some bad passes by Maxwell. So that's mainly what I'm looking for with Michigan State. How are you going to bounce back? Now, the good thing is you play Eastern Michigan this week. So really, I mean, I'm not trying to dog Eastern or nothing, but y'all shouldn't have no problem winning that game. I mean, like I said, come in there, handle business, get yourself a steam up, because if my memory serves correctly, I think Michigan State enters, not just Michigan State, I think Big Ten play starts after next week. And if you're entering Big Ten play, now we're talking about you started off your Big Ten play against Ohio State. And now Ohio State is looking good this year. I mean, now, they had their issues against Cal, which is a whole nother, scenario. But, like I said, at the end of the day, Michigan State, hey, like I said, I'm not a Michigan State fan or anything, but at the end of the day, you can't be one-dimensional. I think that's really the thing that's been hurting the Michigan State Spartans. You're one-dimensional. You're running the ball. The passing is up and down. Receivers are dropping catches. Maxwell's, when he's not throwing well, it's just a mess. And like I said, you cannot give that ball to Bell and the rest of your running backs 80% of the time and think that you're going to win every game. So if I'm Michigan State, hopefully they can get that pass going. Defensively, I didn't really like what I saw them in the Notre Dame game. Notre Dame, their scheme was pretty well planned. But, I still think Michigan State has, a good defense. I mean, I think they just have to get in sync. But like I said, you play Eastern Michigan this upcoming Saturday, then you enter Big Ten play against Ohio State. So be ready. That's my thing to Michigan State. And then I just briefly want to discuss USC losing to Stanford. In that game, and I didn't see all of this game, so I can't accurately, give my full analysis. But from what I can see from the film I did see and the highlights I did see, Matt Barkley, just kind of, I'm not sure what the problem is. I know Stanford's always kind of been his Achilles heel for some reason. I'm not really sure. I mean, it just seemed like in the second half, he just clearly just really made poor decisions. I mean, I saw him throw into traffic and he was intercepted. Then I think USC got on the ball back. Defense got on the ball back, and he threw another interception, in a row. So it just, it was just really bad decision by Matt Barkley. But at the end of the day, I think USC is still an elite team. I don't know, how badly this is going to hurt their national championship chances, depending on if Alabama, LSU, and etc. lose. But at the end of the day, I would have to say that loss, like I said, was really more on Matt Barkley. Those really poor decisions, That's what I would have to say. Like I said, I saw really bad, poor decisions, like I said, out of Matt Barkley in those last couple plays. But the thing about Matt Barkley is he'll probably play great this week. That's the funny thing about Matt Barkley. That's the funny thing about USC, period. But they're still an elite team. They're still one of the teams to look out for as far as bowls and even possibly national championship, depending on what happens with rankings. Moving on to the NFL, I'll start off once again with the home team, Detroit Lions, who just played Sunday Night Football. I'm not surprised the Lions lost. I picked them to lose. The Lions, quite frankly, well, let me start with Minnesota. Let me start with San Francisco first. San Francisco is the real deal. Now, while people seem to be surprised by this, as some people are really surprised that San Francisco is playing this way, I'm not really surprised. My main concern was Alex Smith. I was not concerned about Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter, none of those guys. I was not concerned about the receiving core, Crabtree, Vernon Davis, Mario Manningham. I wasn't concerned about that. Randy Moss, none of those guys. I was concerned about Alex Smith. And Alex Smith, quite frankly, at least, I mean, of course, this is only 2 games in, so you can't go too crazy. But at the end of the day, he's been playing well. I like what I'm seeing out of Alex Smith. He's making smart passes. He's not throwing stupid passes. He's throwing accurate passes. I like what I'm seeing. And then more than anything, like I said, that defense is elite. Yes, but like I said, really, San Francisco almost has no excuse not to win anything this year. I mean, they are a complete team. They have, they have a great running game with Frank Gore, Kendall Hunter, and then like I said, they still got Brandon Jacobs and LaMichael James out of Oregon, who they drafted, back there as well, who can always come in and, shake things up. And like I said, they have a great receiving core, and defensively, they're probably the top defense in the NFL this year, just like they were last year. So there's really no excuse for San Francisco. As for the Lions, it goes back to the same old things that I've been saying before. Once again, you could not establish the run. And that was another thing that kind of bothered me about the Lions in this game. I understand that you want to be patient with the run. You want to establish the run. That's great. I'm all for that. But at the end of the day, don't go away from what you do well. And that was the problem I had with the Lions. Why was everything that Calvin Johnson did 3-yard slant routes right across the middle? I didn't like that. I don't think that's Calvin. Again, that's what Burleson is for. That's what Titus Young is for. I didn't feel like that was appropriate. I felt like I didn't see Calvin. I saw Calvin every once in a while go down the field, and sometimes he didn't get the ball, sometimes because he was just mainly covered. But I just didn't like the idea of putting Calvin across the middle like that. To me, that's not Calvin's thing. You didn't put Calvin in a position to gain yards after the catch, nor did you really give him a position to score. Stafford missed Pettigrew at least 4 times. Sometimes it's because he's getting pressure. Sometimes I just think Stafford didn't see him. That's a whole other situation. But like I said, and today, yes, Lions running game. Like I said, I've constantly said Lions need to be two-dimensional. They need to enhance that running game. And I was very impressed with Jacque Bell, the Wayne State product. But at the end of the day, as much as I want to see you establish the run, I also want to see you stick with what you do best, which is passing the ball and being consistent in that. And that's what you need to do. Defensively, at this point, it's the same old. They either non-disciplined or they can't tackle. It was half of it was discipline because a couple times our defense made good stops, but then we get a penalty and, it's another opportunity for the San Francisco offense. But then they just poor tackling. And like I said, poor discipline. Like I said, I'm not surprised. Like I said, nothing has changed about this defense. The 2 defenders who I kind of do like in our secondary, as far as Chris Houston and Delmas, aren't even playing. And even once they get back, the only thing I can say that might be better is the tackling because they do. Because Delmas to me is not a good person as far as safety and coverage, and Chris Houston, I like him, but that's about it. But like I said, defensively, just offensively, period. Lions just did not take advantage of opportunities. There was twice that in the beginning of the game that that Detroit Lions were in a position to score. They were basically in the red zone and they were forced to set up a field goal. So like I said, you can't do this anymore. Teams know what to expect from you guys now. They've had a full year watch film on your entire first string, basically. It's just ridiculous. Like I said, and also let me get on the O-line real quick. O-line was horrible too. The O-line was horrible too. That was very unimpressive by the O-line, especially on the left side with Jeff Backus as far as running. That was ridiculous. First play of the game, Jeff Backus couldn't even hold his block for more than 5 seconds. That was ridiculous. Like I said, at the end of the day, I've saw some improvement in the Lions, but like I said, I know my nickname for them are the comeback kids because they're the king of that. But at the end of the day, that shouldn't be happening. They need to start stronger, and they need to take advantage of opportunities, especially against teams like San Francisco, because I'm telling you now, you're going to be in situations like that with Green Bay and Chicago probably too, and probably a couple other games this season. So that's the thing with them. Use Calvin in the way he's supposed to be used. I have no problem with Calvin going across the middle, but I prefer you put him in a situation where he can gain yards after catch. I think I only saw him do that once as far as a play that was, actually created for him like that. Like I said, Burleson and them, that's what they're for. Let them go across the middle and take those nice little slant routes, stuff like that. Let Calvin go and throw it up, and just let Calvin go do his thing. Basically, that's what I want to see. So at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking to see. Now, briefly, let me just say, Lions, they play Tennessee Titans this upcoming Sunday. If they lose that game, I ain't got nothing to say. They should. That's a good game for them to get back under, to get their feet back under. Hopefully, Stafford can figure out what's kind of going on with him, as far as the pick, because that one interception he did throw, I'm not sure what he saw. So hopefully that gives Stafford a chance to kind of just, gather himself and whatnot. But at the end of the day, I'm still proud of my Detroit Lions. Like I said, no disrespect to the Lions. Like I said, I can't really say. They're doing what they do. That's just the Lions. I expect them to win. But just the things that I saw, you didn't lose the way the Lions normally do to me. Kind of like I said, you kind of waited to the last minute to play. Cool. But at the end of the day, I kind of felt like you had other opportunities that you didn't really take advantage of. And that's what I'm saying. You can't continue to do that. That's all I'm saying. And then let me just briefly go into this Monday night football game that's coming up. Scratch that. Let me go back. Real quick. To the Saints being 0-2. A couple people want to know my thoughts on that. Saints being 0-2 is not really a surprise. Like I said, when you lose Sean Payton, that's just as bad as losing Drew Brees. That team is gonna go through some things. Like I said, I'm a firm believer. When you go through half stuff they go through, that team is just gonna struggle. I mean, I think that's just the whole point of the thing. And I'm more bothered by the Drew Brees that I saw in the Carolina game. That first interception that he threw, that was a pass that Drew knows not to throw. And I think that's what I'm kind of bothered by. You know, like I said, obviously you're missing some people offensively and a couple people defensively for the Saints, but this is not a surprise. Do I think they're going to go on 16? No. But at the end of the day, am I really surprised that they struggle and that they're struggling? No. And I mean, like I said, Carolina's a good team and Washington's a good team. Are they elite teams? No, but they're good enough teams to, who have mobile quarterbacks that are hard to defend. Obviously, it's the Saints approved time and time again. And like I said, this is a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry. Once you lose your head coach, especially somebody like Sean Payton, who was so key to the Saints organization, you're going to struggle. I don't expect them to go on 16, but I'm not surprised if they start off 0-2. With the Patriots, a couple people want to know my thoughts on the Patriots. As far as the Patriots, I think the absence of Aaron Hernandez hurt them a lot. I think that that hurt them a lot. Aaron Hernandez being out, and then Wes Welker's limited role in this game also hurt. But at the end of the day, I didn't even like the fact that they kind of didn't go for a couple more yards. They didn't look like the aggressive Patriots towards the end. That's what I would say. I mean, settling for a field goal, I understand, you can kick it and you feel confident in your kicker, but I would like to see him take a little more of a risk. Got Gronkowski, try to throw it up there and see if you can get a touchdown. If not, put in a position where, it's not a turnover, but at the end of the day, you still give your team a chance to win and possibly get in some better field position. I would have liked to see that, but that's just me. And like I said, going on to this Monday night game, I'm just gonna give you my prediction. I'm actually picking Denver to win this game. I think Denver's gonna win this game. I'm watching Atlanta. Like I said, I'm a fan of Atlanta. I just want to see consistency out of Atlanta because like I said, once Atlanta generally gets on that field, they do find a regular season and the playoffs come and they're non-existent. I want to see how Peyton Manning's gonna do, against this defense. But I want to see, just how Atlanta's gonna play without Grimes. They lost Grimes to an Achilles injury, so I really want to see how he's gonna play. And see, if I see anything really out of him. If I do, things like that. But I'm picking Denver to win this game tonight. Once again, I hope you enjoyed this segment of Sports Talk with L-Beasley. This will not be the last time you see my face. As usual, you'll actually see me tomorrow discussing this Monday night game that's about to happen later on today, as well probably some NBAs, some more college football. Whatever's going on in the world, I'm going to be discussing tomorrow. So be sure to tune in. Don't forget, Sports Talk with L-Beasley has gone Skype. So if you want to be a guest on my show, feel free to contact me. All my contact information is on the credits at the end. Feel free to contact me. Follow me on Twitter. Friend me on Facebook. All that jazz. Go to moneyballsportswear.com. They're a huge supporter of Sports Talk with L-Beasley, not to mention they just got cold clothes. I can't stress that enough. So go check out moneyballsportswear.com. The only way to ball is Moneyball. Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys tomorrow.